Good morning, my dear students of class 7, and I am happy to welcome you all to today's botany class. What are we going to learn today? Today's class is going to be about the factors that affect photosynthesis. What is today's topic? Factors that affect photosynthesis. In our previous two classes, we had been studying about the detailed process of photosynthesis, and also in the last class we have studied about the structure of chloroplast. All we have studied, right? So in this class we will be studying what factors affect photosynthesis. So let's get started. There are four factors that affect photosynthesis, namely light, temperature, carbon dioxide and water. What are the four factors that affect photosynthesis? Light, temperature, carbon dioxide, water. What does this mean, factors that affect photosynthesis? Which means if there is proper amount of light, temperature, carbon dioxide and water only, the process of photosynthesis can happen properly. What does this mean, that proper amount? It means the amount or the quantity of either light or temperature or carbon dioxide or water should not be very less, or it should not be too high also, then the process of photosynthesis will be affected. So about these factors only we are going to learn in today's class, like what will happen if there is less light, what will happen if there is too much of light. So these concepts all we will be learning in today's class. Okay, so we will start with light. So the first factor is light intensity. Light, you know what is this intensity? Intensity means whether the light, the amount of light the plant receives is less or more, refers to intensity. Less intensity means low light and high intensity means more light. Okay, you already know the process of photosynthesis needs light energy, and today's class we will be learning what will happen if there is low light and what will happen if there is more light related to the process of photosynthesis. So first of all, if there is low light, if the intensity of light is going to be very less, then the photosynthesis will also be very less. What does this mean? Photosynthesis will be less means you already know the product or outcome of photosynthesis is production of food. No, what is food here? The starch is the food or the glucose is the food. Suppose if there is low light intensity, then the food production is also going to be very less. That is what is meant as low photosynthesis or less photosynthesis, means the product or the food produced will also be very less. So if there is less light, the food production in the plant will also be very less. Okay, if you slightly increase the light, okay, first the light is very low, little light you give to the leaf, and then suppose if the light intensity is slowly increased, then what will happen? The photosynthesis also will be higher. That means the food production will also be higher when compared to low light intensity. So as you increase the intensity of light, the photosynthesis process, that is the food production in a plant, is also going to be higher. Okay, so suppose if you are going to increase the light further, so since you know that higher lights will give more photosynthesis, if you are going to increase the light very much, if there is a very high intensity of light, then what will happen? Very high intensity of light will again result in low photosynthesis. What you will expect? When you increase the light, the photosynthesis will also increase, no? Generally, little if you increase, the photosynthesis process will also increase, but too much of light if you provide for the plant, it will be the other way, which means that the product form or the photosynthesis form will become lesser. Similar to you provide less light, no, it will be of the same pattern when you provide too much of light. So there should be optimum supply of light for the process of photosynthesis. Clear? So what have we studied? You know, light intensity is needed for the process of photosynthesis, but when you provide less light, there is going to be less food production or less photosynthesis. When you slightly increase the light intensity, the rate of photosynthesis also gets higher, but when you increase the light to very high intensity, then the process of photosynthesis will become low. So always optimum amount of light should be supplied to the plant. Okay, what will happen if there is so much of light? Why? You may have a question, no? If the light intensity is increased, the process of photosynthesis should increase. Why it decreases? You will be having a question. No, the answer is because at very high light intensity, the chlorophyll, what is chlorophyll? Chlorophyll is the pigment in the plant. No, the chlorophyll pigment is destroyed and it is bleached. That is the color of the chlorophyll. What is the color of the chlorophyll? Chlorophyll pigment is green in color. No, the green color of the pigment is bleached. What is bleaching? Bleaching means it will lose that green color, as well as the chlorophyll pigment itself is destroyed. In your previous class you have studied that chlorophyll pigment is the one which will trap the light energy in the process of photosynthesis. No? So when there is too much of light, what will happen? The chlorophyll pigment itself is destroyed. It doesn't retain its structure, it is destroyed so that it cannot trap light. That's why when you provide so much of light intensity, the photosynthesis becomes lesser because many of the chlorophyll pigments gets destroyed and bleached so that it cannot trap light properly. Clear? So low light intensity, less photosynthesis. A little higher light will give better photosynthesis, that is a much higher photosynthesis, and too much of light intensity will destroy chlorophyll pigments and it will bleach the chlorophyll pigments so that the photosynthesis process is less when you supply very high light intensity. This is about the factor called light. Okay, there is an experiment to prove that light is essential for photosynthesis. We have studied light only by using the light energy, the process of photosynthesis happens. We have studied how to prove that. Wow, what will happen if you don't supply light? For that you have an activity or an experiment to prove that light is definitely needed for photosynthesis. In our previous class already we have studied one concept. What is that concept? How will you check if a leaf contains starch? See, the only evidence that we can analyze that there is photosynthesis in a leaf. How will you check that there is photosynthesis in a leaf? Take a leaf, okay, take a leaf, then add iodine solution to it. So take a leaf and add iodine solution, okay. Suppose if the leaf has starch, when you add this iodine solution, you will get blue-black color. Remember this concept because in all the experiments and activity part, the same concept is going to be repeated. So keep in mind always, if a leaf has starch, when you add iodine solution, the leaf will become blue in color, dark blue in color, or you can call it as blue-black in color. Okay, what did I tell you? If a leaf has starch, when you add iodine solution, the leaf will become blue-black in color. What does this mean, starch? If there is starch in leaf, it means the leaf has undergone the process of photosynthesis, or else the plant has undergone the process of photosynthesis. Okay, so if there is photosynthesis in a leaf, when you pluck a leaf and add iodine solution, the leaf will become blue in color. This is the evidence that photosynthesis has happened. Okay, so keep this point in mind. So now we start the experiment. Why are we performing this experiment? This experiment is to prove that light is essential for photosynthesis, which means only when you supply light, photosynthesis will happen, otherwise it will not happen, you are going to prove. Okay. So what you are going to do, you take a potted plant. So what is the aim of the experiment? To prove that light is essential for photosynthesis. So for this, you take a potted plant and de-starch. What is de-starching? Already a plant will be having starch in that, no, in the leaves and in the stem, all there will be starch because of the process of photosynthesis. So always remember, the product of photosynthesis is the food, which is the starch. Okay. So if you take a plant, it will have starch in that because already photosynthesis will be happening regularly. No? So what you are going to do, the first step is take a plant and put it inside a dark room. Okay. So if you put it inside a dark room, photosynthesis will not happen, and so what you are doing, that process is called de-starching. De-starching. What is de? De means removal. So removal of starch. For the removal of starch, you are going to put the plants in a dark room for 48 hours. So if you put a plant in a dark room for 48 hours, the starch in the plants will be removed. Okay. So first you are removing starch fully, so that now the plant does not have starch at all. Okay. Now what you are going to do, you take the plant out of the dark room and you cover one portion, do not plug the leaf. On one portion of the leaf you cover with the black paper. So what you are going to do, the first step, take a plant, put it inside the dark room for 2 days. Why you are doing this? You are de-starching, which is you are removing the starch in the plants. Okay. Then what you are going to do, take a black paper and cover one portion of the leaf. Okay. Then what you are going to do, you keep this plant under sunlight for some time, for like 5 to 6 hours. You keep this plant in the sunlight. Okay. With this setup, that is, one leaf should be covered with the black paper and keep the plant under sunlight. So obviously when you keep a plant under sunlight, what will happen? The plant will start undergoing the process of photosynthesis. Now already you have de-starched, now there is no starch, but when you put the plant under a sunlight, the process of photosynthesis will start, and then the plants will get starch in the leaves. Okay. So now what you are going to do, you pluck this leaf. You had covered one leaf with the black paper, no? Pluck that leaf and add iodine solution to the leaf. So I already told you, iodine solution, when you add it to starch, it will turn blue in color. Okay. So now remove this black paper, add iodine solution. Now you can see, except this part, all other part is blue black in color. Can you see? This part is not blue black in color. You have removed the paper. Now you add starch, all other parts are blue black in color, which means these parts all have undergone the process of photosynthesis, whereas this part has not undergone photosynthesis. That's why there is no starch. Okay. So why this part alone did not undergo photosynthesis? Because this has been covered with the black paper, which has stopped the process of photosynthesis. So what can you understand from this experiment? Since light was not provided to this region, there was no photosynthesis in this region. Clear? So from this experiment you can prove that whenever you supply light to a plant, it will undergo photosynthesis. So this part, these part all have received the light, so it has undergone photosynthesis, whereas this part did not receive light, so it has not undergone photosynthesis. From this you can understand that light is definitely essential for photosynthesis, or you can tell only when there is light there can be photosynthesis, otherwise there will be no photosynthesis at all. So this is the experiment to prove that light is essential for photosynthesis. What are the other factors we have studied? Now we have completed the first factor called light. Then the second factor is temperature. So temperature is also required for photosynthesis. You have already studied equation for photosynthesis, no? So photosynthesis is a chemical process that also you know. So for any chemical process to happen, there should be at least some amount of heat supplied to the reaction. Only when you supply temperature or heat, the chemical reaction can happen. Similarly, for the process of photosynthesis also, it needs temperature or heat for the reaction to happen. Okay, so what temperature it needs? The optimum temperature. Optimum means the best temperature for photosynthesis is from 25 to 35 degrees Celsius. From 25 to 35 degrees Celsius, the process of photosynthesis will happen the best. It is the optimum temperature means the best temperature that supports photosynthesis is 25 to 35 degrees centigrade. If you don't provide temperature, then the process of photosynthesis will not happen properly. Clear? So this is about temperature. Similar to the light and temperature, carbon dioxide is also essential for photosynthesis. What will happen if you increase the concentration of carbon dioxide? Similar to the light intensity, no? Whenever you increase the concentration of carbon dioxide, the rate of photosynthesis will also increase, which means when you give more carbon dioxide, photosynthesis will happen very well. Okay, so what will happen when you further increase carbon dioxide? Too much of carbon dioxide if you give to the plant, just like the light intensity, the process of photosynthesis will be inhibited upon supply of very high concentration of carbon dioxide. So always keep in mind, a little higher concentration of carbon dioxide will increase the process of photosynthesis, but very high concentration of carbon dioxide will inhibit, which means it will stop the process of photosynthesis. So what have we studied about temperature? Every chemical reaction needs temperature for the reaction to happen. Similarly, the process of photosynthesis is also a chemical reaction, so obviously photosynthesis also needs temperature for the process to occur, and the optimum temperature needed for the process of photosynthesis is 25 to 35 degrees Celsius. And about carbon dioxide, a little increase in carbon dioxide will give higher photosynthesis, and further when you increase the concentration of carbon dioxide too much, the process of photosynthesis itself will stop. So this is about temperature and carbon dioxide factors affecting photosynthesis. There is one more experiment to prove that carbon dioxide is essential for photosynthesis. Already we have seen an experiment. Now what was that about? How light is essential for photosynthesis. We have proved by an experiment. So in this experiment you are going to prove that how carbon dioxide is essential for photosynthesis. Is it really needed for photosynthesis? What will happen if you cut the supply of carbon dioxide to the plant? This you are going to do with the experiment. Okay, so before that I'll tell you one fact. There is one chemical called KOH. What is KOH? Always when you have OH, no, it means hydroxide. Okay, so K is potassium, OH is hydroxide. Say for example NaOH means Na is sodium, OH means hydroxide. So here in this experiment you are not going to use sodium, you are going to use potassium hydroxide. So what is the chemical you are going to use? Potassium hydroxide. Why you need to use potassium hydroxide? What is the speciality? Potassium hydroxide has one peculiar feature. When you give potassium hydroxide in one environment, it will absorb all the carbon dioxide in that place. Okay, which means it will remove the carbon dioxide in this place. See this jar, no, this is called bell jar. There is a cabin like structure, no, a small jar. It is called bell jar. Okay, it is made up of glass, and the purpose of bell jar is, see, there is a potted plant, no, there is a pot and there is a plant. So when you invert the bell jar over this plant, it is a closed environment, which means you are cutting off the supply of oxygen or other air from the external environment. See, it is fully kept inside the bell jar, so the external air will not go inside. Okay, whatever air is inside the bell jar only will be supplied to the plant. Okay, so potassium hydroxide we have used. Why you use this chemical? This chemical has one special property. It will remove the carbon dioxide in the place surrounding it. Okay, so in the first plant, what I am doing, there are two plants now. This is plant 1 and this is plant 2. So in plant number 1, what I am doing, I place a dish with KOH, potassium hydroxide is placed in a dish, and then I cover that plant 1 with the bell jar. Already I told you, if you keep potassium hydroxide in one place, what will happen? It will remove the carbon dioxide in that place. So when I keep this dish with potassium hydroxide and cover with a bell jar, this environment, the immediate environment surrounding the plant will not have carbon dioxide. So there is no CO2 in this place, where in pot number 1. Whereas in pot number 2, I am not going to keep any KOH. It is as such. Okay, it is a normal plant without KOH. So in this place, what will happen? Here there is no carbon dioxide, but here there will be carbon dioxide. CO2 is present in pot number 2. In pot number 1, CO2 is absent. Okay. So now what you are going to do? You are going to continue the experiment. What you will do first? Pot 1, as I told you, pot 1 is supplied with KOH, and then you are going to keep both these plants under sunlight for 3 to 4 hours. Okay. So here first what you are doing? You are keeping KOH. KOH has removed all the carbon dioxide here, whereas here you have carbon dioxide because you have not placed KOH at all. Okay. So now after 3 to 4 hours, what you are going to do? You are going to do the starch test. What is starch test? We have studied many times, no? When you add starch to a leaf, if there is when you add iodine to a leaf, if there is starch, the leaf will turn into blue black in color. So now what you are going to do? Take a leaf from pot 1 and pot 2 and add the iodine solution to this leaf and also to this leaf. This will turn blue black in color because it will have starch, but these leaves will not turn into blue black in color because it will not have starch. So whenever there is no starch, it means that there is no photosynthesis. There is no photosynthesis. Why there is no photosynthesis in pot 1? Because when we keep potassium hydroxide, it has removed the carbon dioxide. So when there was no carbon dioxide, there was no photosynthesis. Okay. So what we have understood from this experiment? Whenever there is no photosynthesis, there is whenever there is no carbon dioxide, there is no photosynthesis. So there is no carbon dioxide in pot number 1, so there is no photosynthesis. So this experiment has proved us that whenever there is no carbon dioxide, there is no photosynthesis. Thus carbon dioxide is one important factor essential for photosynthesis. When you don't supply carbon dioxide, photosynthesis will not happen. We have proved by this experiment. Okay. These all you need not study experiments all, but it is for your understanding and to prove that these factors are really essential for the process of photosynthesis. So the last factor is water in the process of photosynthesis. What will happen if you don't supply water? So light, carbon dioxide, water, all is essential for photosynthesis, no? So how water is used in the process of photosynthesis? Only when there is water, the leaves are hydrated. Even you have to hydrate yourself, which means your body should be saturated with water. Drink so much of water, otherwise you will be dehydrated. Dehydration will result in many diseases, even infections, all you will get. So always stay hydrated. Similarly, the protoplasm of the plant What is protoplasm? You have studied already in your grade 6. Now, what is protoplasm? Protoplasm is equal to nucleus plus cytoplasm. Nucleus plus cytoplasm, which is the liquid content of the cell, right? So, only when you supply water to the plant, the protoplasm will be hydrated. Otherwise, the liquid portion of the leaf will be missing. So, water is essential, and also water is essential to maintain the turgidity of the leaves. Why we are talking about leaves repeatedly? Because leaf is the place where photosynthesis happens, no? So, the turgidity of the leaves, which means the stiffness, the leaf is stiff only when you pour water. If you have a garden and if you don't pour water for a longer number of days, no, the leaf will be very loose, no? So, the leaves are turgid only when you provide water. And when the water supply is not available, the leaves will wilt, which becomes saggy, which becomes so loose in nature. And also the stomata will close. Whenever there is no water, what will happen? You have studied about the leaf structure, no? In your first lesson, you have studied the structure of the leaf. In that, you have studied the opening in the leaves is called stomata. So, whenever you don't provide water to the plant, the stomata will close. So, when stomata close, it prevents carbon dioxide entry. So, gas exchange also takes place through stomata, no? So, when there is no water, the stomata will close, and when the stomata closes, carbon dioxide cannot enter. Carbon dioxide is a raw material for photosynthesis, no? So, when carbon dioxide cannot enter the leaf, photosynthesis will also not happen. So, indirectly water affects the process of photosynthesis. How? If there is no water, stomata will close. If stomata close, carbon dioxide will not enter into the plant. If there is no carbon dioxide, there is no starch production or food production in the leaf. So, this is how water affects the process of photosynthesis. So, in today's class, we have learnt about how light, temperature, carbon dioxide and water affects the process of photosynthesis. So, for your homework, read pages 73 and 74. You have this topic in these two pages. Read it thoroughly and get prepared for your next class test. That is all for today's biology class, and until I meet you in one more zoology class, you all take care and bye-bye.